to share my talk with you, and really it's about my experience as an organic farmer. And through that, understanding myself as a chiropractor. And so I just want to talk this out with you guys, and maybe that'll help me to find my voice in my new profession. So I'm excited. Like any good farmer, I'm going to tell you a story. And I was going to show you some pictures, but I don't think that's going to happen. And then I'm going to see if I can relate that story to the aspirations of our profession. So I worked as an organic farmer for 7 years, and that's what I did prior to coming here. For 5 years, I was in New York State, and 2 years in California. I worked with animals, vegetables, fruit trees. I've been outside for the last 7 years just working in the soil, and it's been one of the greatest pleasures of my life. And I want to bring that pleasure and that passion to chiropractic. So the most beautiful farm that I worked at was called Moon in the Pond Farm. And Moon in the Pond Farm is a 250-acre farm in western Massachusetts. And it's beautiful. There are rolling hills. There are these beautiful animals. We have a beautiful garden and a greenhouse. And every day we get up super early and we go out there and we work all day. We get dirty and we sweat and we eat like princes and kings and queens, and it's beautiful. I want to tell you about a daily ritual we had. We'd actually hand milk the cows. And we'd go out there and we'd get up super early. We'd go outside and I'd walk out to the pasture. And let's just say that it's morning. It's a little chilly and there's like a little drizzle. And so I would walk out to the pasture and I'd be like shrugging off sleep. And I'd go out and I'd come to the pasture and I'd yell to our cow. I'd say, "Butterscotch, butterscotch, come in, come in." And she would turn to me, chewing on some grass, and she'd say, "Okay, she knows what's happening." So she'd say, and I'd come up behind her and I'd tap her with a stick and she'd come on in. And then we'd walk along the path back towards the barn. And it was kind of muddy, and let's say I'm still waking up and my shoes are sticking in the mud and she's, plodding along. And so we come around and we pass the pigs. And we had these beautiful black pigs, big black, and they would wake up and they had these ears that would come over their eyes, right? So they would just come and go like this, and they'd do that a little bit so they could see what was happening. And so we'd walk past them, and we'd go into the barn, and we'd put her head in the stanchion, and we'd close the stanchion, so she would sort of be sitting there. And then I'd put down some grass, some hay, and some grain. And then I'd grab this like old-fashioned metal milking bucket. And I'd grab the hot water so I could wash her udder. And I'd sit down on this like old-fashioned stool. And I'd wash her udder, and I'd be talking to her, "Hey, butterscotch, it's all right, we're about to do the milking." And I'd actually lean against her. She's 1,200 pounds, and I'm leaning against her. She's right here. Her back legs are right here. She has a thing for kicking you off the stool if you don't treat her right. And so I'd wash her udder, and I would, and then I'd take the first milk and I'd put it in a little can, and I'd feed that to the barn cats. And then I would start milking into the pail, and you'd hear the milk as it hit the pail, this kind of metallic noise. And the milk actually would steam, and it would kind of froth. And you'd sit there for 20 minutes, and butterscotch is kind of back and forth, and you're leaning against her. And I just remember that really, really fondly. And we would continue milking and continue milking. And I'd be waking up by now. I'm like, "Oh, this is cool." And I'd be milking. And then we'd get that milk, and then we'd go inside, and we'd pour it and filter it, and then put it in the refrigerator. And then I'd go back, and I'd take butterscotch out, and I'd bring it back to the pasture. And I tell you this story because for me, that sort of represented the importance of farming for me. That it was this way to have a very deep and spiritual connection to my food. And I had this sensual connection to my food. And I had a connection that had to do with my values, about how I wanted food to be farmed, about how I wanted food to be raised so that everybody else could eat healthy food, and how I wanted to provide that healthy food to everybody. And thinking about this, I sort of thought about that in a way, what I was doing that morning, and of course this infused the milk with flavor and value and morals that I believe in, and made it to me the best milk I had ever tasted. So in this way, I was inspired. What I was enacting there was actually my aspiration for humanity, my aspiration for a better world, an aspiration for a world that my children will inherit. And so I think that when I think about chiropractic, I want to take that same thing and I want to apply it to the adjustment. That what we're doing is actually, with every adjustment, we're taking our love and we're connecting to our passion, and we're trying to light someone up in a way that will create a better world for future humanity. And that's sort of what I was thinking about, that we light someone up and then they go off and their dreams are that much clearer and their aspirations are that much clearer. And so we create this compounding effect of a brighter future for humanity. And so that's how I'm going to think about it. And as I develop as a chiropractor, that's going to be my soil and my seed. Thanks.